everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and I am a librarian that loves all things beauty. So I thought since the Sephora sale is coming up, I would do a video about my Sephora sale recommendations. I know that Sephora can be very overwhelming. There's tons of different brands, tons of different products, and they're all pretty expensive products, not gonna lie. And so it can be a little bit confusing about knowing what to buy, what to splurge on, and what are the best things to pick up during the sale. So instead of giving you a list of all of the different products I love at Sephora, I thought I would give you my top 10 recommendations to what I think you should be picking up. Now this list is a list of, my all-time favorites at Sephora and things that I have repurchased or would repurchase in the future. So it's going to contain some things that are not necessarily new in at Sephora. Some of them are a little bit newer, but most of these products are going to be products that have been out for a while and that I've been using and loving ever since they came out. And I thought that was kind of a better way to approach the Sephora sale because there have been a lot of new product launches recently, and it's kind of nice to review the older favorites or the products that are for sure going to be worth your money. So that's what I have here in this little makeup bag. It's my little Appa makeup bag that I got from Lethal Cosmetics. It's so adorable. I love it. I love this for kind of on-the-go makeup as well as setting aside products for videos and things like that. But anyways, so I'll be going through my top 10 recommendations, and then afterwards, if you are curious, I will showcase what is in my cart currently at Sephora and what I might be picking up during the sale. If you are unaware of the Sephora sale, it's the Sephora Savings Event. They usually do these in the fall and in the spring, so the one that's coming up is for the spring. I will pop a screenshot here of the dates of the sale and the percentages off, as well as the different tiers of when you can shop the sale. So let's get into my top 10 product recommendations for the Sephora Savings Event. I'll start off with some base products. So I'll start off with foundation. I don't really have a primer that I recommend from Sephora. All the primers that I use are from the drugstore. So I really don't think a primer from Sephora is really worth it in my opinion. But one area that I do think is worth it to splurge is your foundation, because it's going to lay down, as it suggests, the foundation for all of your other makeup products. And if your foundation doesn't look great, then all of your other products on top are not going to look great as well. While there are some really great foundations that are at the drugstore, I think if you are willing to spend a little bit more money, then you do get your money's worth when you splurge on foundations. So the first product I'm going to recommend is the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. So this is the one foundation that Haus Labs has, and it's been out for a couple of years now, I think. And I waited a little bit to purchase this foundation just because it is quite expensive, but I do not regret it at all. I was a little bit hesitant about getting it at first because I do have quite oily skin. So if you don't know, my skin gets super oily throughout the day. Even if I just wash my face, use moisturizer, and just leave it, it gets super greasy, slippery, like pizza grease face by within a couple of hours. So I keep that in mind when I am purchasing especially base products like foundations, concealers, powders, all of that. I keep my oily skin in mind, and I want to make sure that the foundation that I purchase lasts throughout the day. So I was a little bit hesitant about purchasing this foundation at first because I knew that it didn't have a matte or like a satin finish. I guess it kind of does have a satiny finish, but it has a very kind of skin-like healthy look to the finish. But once I tried it, I immediately fell in love with it. When I first applied it, it applied really smoothly. It has a very skin-like finish in the way that it looks like you applied skincare on. So after you just applied your moisturizer, but it looks like you've applied like a tinted moisturizer or something, but it is a full coverage foundation. At first, I was like, wow, this foundation looks really nice on my skin. It didn't cling to any dry patches because I do have kind of like combination, I guess, skin. I have some drier areas and texture, and that's kind of what I was worried about. I was like, oh, this looks really great. It looks like I have healthy, glowing skin, but how is this actually going to last throughout the day? That's what really surprised me about this foundation, is that it actually lasted the whole day, like 8-10 hours. It looked exactly the same as when I applied it. Mind you, I did set it with powder. I set usually all of my foundations with powder, but when my oil started to peek through and it did start to look a little bit shinier than it did when I first applied it, it actually didn't break up the foundation. Normally when that happens, my foundation starts to break up. It starts to kind of look like cottage cheese, honestly, which is kind of a gross analogy, but that's what it looks like. And this one did not do that. It looked glowier, it looked shinier without looking like completely greasy, like Krispy Kreme donut. You know what I mean? And this is the foundation that I use for special occasions. So if I have like a wedding to go to, or I have like a dinner or something where I know I'm going to be out for a really long time, or I just want my skin to look really healthy and really nice and last a long time, this is the foundation that I go for. So I highly recommend it, even for my oily skin. It works really fantastic. If you do want it to be a little bit more matte, you could apply like a mattifying powder or a mattifying primer underneath it, and that will kind of help with the shine and the glowiness if you prefer more of that matte look. If you do have drier skin, you probably want to moisturize your skin really well before applying it, but I think anyone with any skin type could use this foundation and you will absolutely love it. It's also very buildable, so you can apply like a light layer and get like a medium coverage, but you can apply a little bit more and get a completely full glam, full coverage look, which is what I really love about this foundation. It's so versatile, it lasts really well throughout the day, and I don't know, it just looks fantastic. So Haus Labs really nailed it on this one. This next product is another foundation, and it's another foundation that is one of my favorites at Sephora. The reason I included both the Haus Labs and this foundation is because this foundation, it's only for a particular skin type, and you can probably guess what that skin type is based on what my skin type is, but the Haus Labs I do think would work for everyone, whereas this one probably is only going to work for my oily skinned people. The second product I want to recommend is the Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. So this one is for my oily people out there. If you have super oily skin and you find that all foundations end up breaking up, or they look gross throughout the day, or they just get super duper shiny and they don't last very well, I really suggest trying this one, because it does have a combination of products in one. So it's kind of like a 3-in-1 type of foundation. It has a niacinamide serum, which niacinamide is known for helping with oil balancing on the skin. And it has the foundation, obviously, and it has a powder built into the foundation. So it's a self-setting foundation. I find I don't really need to use powder on top of it. So this is like the one rare exception where sometimes I won't set this with powder. But if I do want it to last ultra long or be ultra matte throughout the whole day, I will apply powder on top of this. This one here, definitely for more oily skin people. I think people with dry skin, you might be able to get away with this if you really, really hydrate very well, but I'm not sure, because it could cling to your dry patches and look just too dry on your skin. But I really love it. It's super long lasting. Again, it's kind of like buildable coverage. You can apply like a lighter amount and get more of like that skin tint, light coverage kind of vibe, or you can apply more and get that medium to full coverage. The one caveat to this foundation though is that it sets super duper fast. So you want to work in sections when you're applying it, because once it sets, it's not going anywhere, which is great. But in the middle of your application, if you have a spot that's not blended super well and it sets, it's going to be very difficult to try and blend that out again. So work really quickly and work in sections with this foundation. But once you fully blend it out, it looks really great. It blurs the skin. It's nice and mattifying without looking dry, especially on oily skin. And I just really love it. Also, I love the packaging. I know some people might be like, oh, it looks so cheap. It's like plastic. No, I love this packaging so much because it's so easy to travel with. When I was in Italy last year, I brought this. I actually brought the 2 shades that I wear. I wear the shade 2, Fair Neutral, most of the time, but sometimes I mix in shade 5 when I'm a little bit more tan. Tan is not the right word, but a little bit darker in the summer. I mix the 2 shades together. So I brought these 2 with me when I traveled to Italy last year for a wedding, and it was fantastic because these take up barely any room. If you compare that to the House Labs, look at how big and bulky this thing is. This thing is horrible to travel with. It's a glass bottle. I'd be so afraid of breaking it, whereas these ones, super duper easy to travel with. And the 2 together is like the same size as the House Labs foundation, but it's a lot lighter as well. So it fits in your makeup bag so much easier, and it's just lovely to travel with. Also, in the Italian heat, in the summer, in July, it was so hot and it was also humid, so we were sweating. The sun was beating down on us all day during the wedding, and this lasted the whole day and the whole night. So highly recommend for my oily skin people. Next product is a concealer. So the concealer that I'm going to recommend is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. Now these are fantastic. I originally got the shade BH, I believe, and this one is a little bit darker and a little bit more pink. And then I bought the shade BU, which is a little bit lighter and a little bit more yellow. I find the shade BH matches like the face part, whereas the shade BU I like to use under my eyes for more of like a brightening effect. These are really great because they are that kind of serum-y texture and they're hydrating, but they do stay really well. So they're not going to be like slipping and sliding throughout your face. So I think definitely, like, I have oily skin and I love these concealers, but also people with dry skin really love these concealers as well. So I think you can't go wrong with the Tower 28 concealer. And it's also really nice to use on like an everyday makeup look when you're just putting like point concealing, blending it out, just like a light layer of it. It also works really well for that. Again, it's really buildable. You can apply like the tiniest little dot and it'll be like a light coverage, or you can apply a bit more and it does build up to like really full coverage. So for anyone that has like super dark circles, or you have like blemishes that you need to cover, redness, this concealer works really great. Now moving on to kind of the rest of the complexion, I have a bronzer to recommend. And this is for all of my fair skinned people out there that have more of a cool undertone. If you struggle with bronzers looking really orange and really warm on you, then this bronzer will probably work really well for you. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, and it's in the shade light medium. It's really mainly for fair skin, I believe, because the way that the color is, the camera's kind of making it look warmer than it actually is in person. It definitely is quite a neutral bronzer. So it still gives enough warmth to where it looks like you applied a bronzer on your skin, but it's not gonna look orange or like Cheeto dust. You know what I mean? So this one I really recommend. It blends out super well. And so this is the mini size, right? I've had this mini size for literally years. This is probably very expired and I probably shouldn't be using it anymore, but I have not hit pan on this. Look at that. It looks like I've barely used it at all. Same with the highlight. The highlight's really nice as well. It's really smooth, not glittery. I find it doesn't really cling to texture. It is a little bit on the darker side, so it's like a champagne-y rose gold color. So if you have like super duper fair skin, if you're a little bit lighter than me, then it might not work for you as a highlighter, but it works really well as like an eyeshadow. But I'm mainly recommending it for the bronzer side. And I would recommend picking up the mini because I use this bronzer so often and I haven't used all of it. And so it's not really worth it to get the big size if the little size is going to last you this long. But if it's going to be your everyday bronzer, then for sure get the bigger size because that will last longer for you. But if you have other bronzers that you like to switch between, then I would suggest just getting the mini because then you don't have to spend like it's like $80 or something. I do not want to spend $80 on a bronzer, so get the mini size. Next thing is a blush, and you can probably guess which blush I'm going to suggest. Literally everyone and their mom suggests this blush and recommends it, but it's the Patrick Ta blushes. The Patrick Ta blush duos they're just so good. I'm not gonna rave on about these for too long because everyone knows them by now. They have so many colors in this blush now. Anyone of any skin tone will be able to find a shade that works for them and that they love. My personal favorite shade is the shade Not Too Much. It's one of their newer shades and it's kind of like this neutrally pinky shade. It's the blush I have on today. I actually applied the powder and then the cream on top just to give a little bit more glow to my skin. I just love these for the versatility. You can apply just the powder, you can apply just the cream, you can apply the cream and then the powder, or as Patrick Ta loves to do, the powder and then the cream on top, which is what I did today. So both of them, when you mix the two formulas, not mix, but apply both of the formulas one on top of the other, both ways gives you a really long lasting blush and it doesn't fade throughout the day and the colors are nicely pigmented. I find that they're not too pigmented to where it's like hard to blend out. They're still like give you that color that you need. So highly, highly recommend. I'm going to move on to the eyes next. And this is a product that I think is still available. Last time I checked Sephora, it was actually still available, which is crazy because it's limited edition and I love it so much. I'm surprised it hasn't sold out yet, but it's the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Moonlight palette. So I had originally bought the Ethereal Eyes palette and I was so sad to see that it never returned as a full non-limited edition item because why? Because why? It's such a good palette for literally anybody for any day. It's just like the mattes are gorgeous, but the shimmers, oh my gosh, the shimmer shades are so absolutely stunning. Like I'm wearing it obviously on my eyes right now. I personally love this one. It's the more neutral, cool toned version of the Ethereal Eyes palette and it's personally my favorite. I've been trying to embrace the cooler tone in my skin. I'm kind of like neutral leaning cool, so I've been wanting to embrace more cool toned eyeshadow looks. I can't put this down. Ever since I bought it, can't put it down. Love the blue, love all of the shimmers. It's just so stunning and I love that this one has a black in it. I just find the black eyeshadow is just so versatile. Why are these not permanent items, Mario? Why are they not permanent? If you are listening, which you're probably not, who cares what I have to say, but make them permanent. Back to the sale. If it's still available during the sale, definitely get it while you can because currently it's my everyday eyeshadow palette. I haven't tried the matte palettes from Makeup by Mario just because I have so many eyeshadows that I already have all of those colors in every single other eyeshadow palette that I have. I probably wouldn't be picking those up anytime soon, but I have heard really good things about those. So if that one's not available, then the matte eyeshadow palettes would probably be a good one to purchase as well during the sale. Okay, next one is a lip liner. So this one technically you can use on your lips and your eyes. I personally just use it on my lips because this is something that I've been looking for forever. Because I have cooler undertones in my skin, it's literally impossible for me to find a nude or like a brownish lip liner that doesn't have warm undertones in it and that doesn't pull orange on me. I finally got around to trying the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Endless Cacao. And I've heard so many people raving about this, being like, it's the perfect cool tone brown. And yes, it is the perfect cool tone brown. On the camera, it's picking up warm for some reason. Maybe it's like my lighting or something, but it's the perfect amount of gray in this brown to where it actually looks like a nude brown on me, and it doesn't pull orange or like beige or like a weird color. This and then my Maybelline lip liner in the shade Gone Greige are like the only actually cool toned lip liners that I have. All of my other ones are like warm. They just look orange. Even if they say they're cool toned, they're really not. So if you've been struggling like me, get it. Also, the formula is just really great. I prefer like a wooden pencil lip liner anyways. Like the NYX lip liners are some of my favorites, and they're just so easy to sharpen as well. The formula is really great. It lasts pretty well. Obviously with like lip liners, if they're not made to be like long-lasting lip liners, then they're gonna fade. You can use these on your eyes. I feel weird about using something on my lips and then going into my eyes. I feel like there's some sort of sanitary issue with that. But you could probably just like use it on your lips, rub it off on a tissue, and then use it on your eyes, or like sharpen it again. But I don't know, I kind of feel weird about it. But anyways, this is what I would recommend for the sale if you're looking for a cool toned lip liner that is actually cool toned. Okay, product number 8 on my list is a lip balm. It's a tinted lip balm. It's the one I'm wearing right now. I'm actually wearing it with the Endless Cacao lip liner. And there have been a lot of tinted lip balms that have been launched. There's the Summer Fridays, there's the Ole Henriksen, there's Naturium, there's just so many out there. The market is so saturated with them, right? It's like hard to tell which one's gonna actually be your favorite. But I tried the Laneige Glaze Craze Tinted Lip Serum. These are fantastic. I love these. I knew that Laneige was going to really nail this formula because of their lip mask and their previous lip balms. I knew they were gonna nail the tinted ones because of that formula being so good. Sometimes with tinted lip balms, they kind of hydrate your lips, but then they end up drying them out because they don't have enough hydrating ingredients in them. This one actually hydrates your lips, which is fantastic. They're pretty pigmented with color, and the scent of this one is absolutely amazing. This is the shade Cinnamon Sugar. It's kind of like the mauvey one. I'll put a little bit more on right now, but it smells like a cinnamon sugar donut. I know that they made like the applicator to look like a donut, and maybe that's what's putting the donut smell in my brain. The scent is there, it's pretty there. So if you don't like scented lip products, then maybe this isn't for you, but the smell is just so delicious. It's like to die for. Sometimes I don't love scented makeup products, especially for like the face, or if you are a brand and you put a flowery, floral, disgusting scent in your lip product, get the hell away from me. Get it away from me. What are you even doing? I can't even believe, like, especially those luxury makeup brands, why did they do that? It's just so gross. What makes you think that a lip product having a rose or a flower scent in it is going to be good? If it's a lip product, it will migrate into your mouth. No matter how hard you try, it will migrate into your mouth. So put some nice scent into it, like cinnamon sugar or vanilla, or even like orange or mint or something that is close to like a food. Follow Laneige's footsteps. Make some delicious scents that make you want to eat the product. Obviously, put a disclaimer that you shouldn't be eating the product. Okay, that's my little rant over, but these are really great. They're pigmented, they smooth out your lips really well. I find that the pigment doesn't get caught up in the lines, and it makes your lips really glossy and really gorgeous. And they actually hydrate your lips without making them all crusty. So good job for Laneige. And then lastly, I want to recommend a skincare product. So I don't have the skincare product because I ran out of it, and I have so many other cleansers to go through, it's ridiculous. So I probably won't be repurchasing it for a while until I run out of those. But I do really miss it in my routine. I'll pop up a picture of it here. It's the Skin Fix Foaming Oil Cleanser. To be quite honest, I don't usually recommend buying cleansers from Sephora or any high-end cleanser because it's gonna be on your face for like 30 seconds to a minute, and it's just not really worth the high price tag. You know, most cleansers, especially from the drugstore, they all do the same thing. They cleanse your skin. A lot of modern formulas, they don't strip your skin anymore. So as long as it cleanses your skin well and it doesn't strip your skin, then, you know, just buy one from The Ordinary or buy one from Bioma. Like, they're all gonna do the same thing and they're all gonna be great. However, this cleanser is the exception because it's such a unique texture. It foams up, but it doesn't really have that like drying foaming up feeling. And it actually still foams up really well, but it's very hydrating on your skin. And when you rinse it off, it leaves your skin feeling super clean, but not that like tight, dry feeling clean. And it also doesn't leave like a hydrating film on your skin. A lot of hydrating cleansers, they leave this kind of film on your skin. And especially for somebody with oily skin, it kind of makes you feel like you didn't actually cleanse your skin. But this cleanser makes your skin feel clean and hydrated at the same time. It also removes makeup really well. I wear a lot of waterproof mascara, so it doesn't remove that. But if I use a waterproof mascara remover and then I use this cleanser afterwards, I kind of don't need a second cleanse. Normally what I do is I use a balm or a oil cleanser first, and then I go in with my regular cleanser. But with the foaming oil cleanser, I can just use the same cleanser for both cleansing steps. Or if I'm really lazy or if I don't have a lot of makeup on, I can just use my waterproof mascara remover and then use the foaming oil cleanser, and I'm good to go. Especially if you wear just like light makeup every day, I think you would really love that cleanser. So I find it really unique in that way, and that's why I think it's worth the price tag. It's kind of the one skincare product that I actually recommend from Sephora. Skin Fix has some really good products, but I've had a lot of success with drugstore products and Korean skincare products. So I find like the high price tag is not usually worth it for me for a lot of skincare products. But the foaming oil cleanser is the one exception to that rule. So those are my top 10 recommendations for Sephora. And if you are just interested in that, feel free to like the video and click off now. But if you're interested in what's in my cart for this Sephora sale, then keep on watching because I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking of picking up. So the first thing that's in my cart is the Supergoop SPF 50 skin tint, whatever it's called. I really want to try that, especially because it's a mineral SPF. They just launched it in Sephora Canada. It was only available in Sephora in the US for a while, but now that they've launched it in Canada, I really want to try it. Obviously, it's not going to provide SPF 50 as like your main SPF, because the amount that you would have to use to get the SPF 50 is ridiculous for a skin tint. The SPF that I use right now is SPF 30, which is like fine for the winter. But the normal SPF 50 that I use in the summer is the Australian Gold tinted one. And the lightest shade is like just too dark for me, even in the summer. And in the winter, it just looks ridiculous on me. So I wanted one that was lighter, match my skin tone a little bit better, and something that I can pair with like my SPF 30 just to get a little bit of extra protection. So that's one that I'm really excited to try. The next one is another lip liner that claims to be cool toned, and I've heard a lot of people recommend it. So I am hopeful that it is cool toned. It's the Makeup by Mario lip liner in the shade Smoky Pink. Definitely want to pick that up because the two that I have the Makeup Forever one, Endless Cacao. That one's more brown, and then the Maybelline one is a little bit more mauve, like purpley. So I want something that is actually pink, but is a cool tone pink. The next one I definitely want to get because it is Sephora collection, and during the sale, you get 30% off from Sephora collection, which is fantastic. So I want to get the Sephora collection contour powder. The reason I want this is because I don't really have a powder contour in my collection. I really need a contour powder that is like actually grayish and will create this shadow on my skin. Anything that's labeled as a contour, and if you're fair skinned or you're cool toned and it says it's a contour, it's just gonna show up orange on you. Like, they just don't get it right. Whereas this powder actually looks gray toned, which is what I'm looking for. I have some liquids and some cream contours that work for me, but I want a powder because I find a powder is a little bit more versatile. I can just apply a little bit at the end if I want a little bit more structure, a little bit more shape, especially after I've applied a bunch of powder products, and it's less likely to get absorbed and like mixed in with my other products. So definitely looking forward to trying that one. And lastly, I want to pick up more of the Laneige lip balm shades because I absolutely love this formula. It's becoming my everyday holy grail, and so I want to pick up a couple more shades. I'm hopeful that the new shades that they came out with, there's like a baby pink color, and then there's like a raspberry color that I want to pick up. But if not, I might pick up one of the other shades that's in like the base collection that they launched with. But I will definitely have at least one of those in my cart for sure because I love the formula so much. Alrighty, so those are all of my top 10 recommendations as well as what is in my cart at Sephora for the savings event. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, leave me suggestions in the comments for other videos that you want to see me do. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!